Podcast with Jensen Maydew, Tony Caranco, and your host, Wes Underwood.
Well, here we go. Welcome into the Sports Timeout Podcast, brought to you by Jefferson's. Chiefs win, so do you. 50-cent wings if the Chiefs win. And then Robert's Integrative Dentistry in Joplin, our other sponsor here to get things started. Go check out Robert's Integrative Dentistry if you're in a need of a brighter, straighter smile. Get your appointment today at 417-622-0404. Wes Underwood, along with Jensen, and welcome back, Clint. How are you guys?
Doing good. How is the do we also get that 50-cent wings thing? Because that sounds actually sounds like a good deal to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go get it this week.
Yeah, 50-cent wings, you kidding me?
I mean, it's a bye week, so we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm doing good. I'm in California, ready to talk sports about my hometown, Missouri.
Yeah, indeed. And also, before we buckle in, make sure to hit that like and subscribe
Smash
button.
that like.
Yep. Smash it too. Yeah. I could do that. Yeah. But got a good show once again. You all ready? Here we go. And well, we'll get right to it. Ghetto Tacos NCAA football top 25 talk. And yeah, be sure to go get 10% off your burrito orders again today. But yeah, Mizzou, number 14, drops 2 spots in the NCAA top 25. I mean, I figured that they would possibly stay around 12. I mean, they put up a good fight against Georgia. So it was a really good game. KU up 5 at 16. And then Oklahoma State up 7. They're at number 15. Notre Dame, I mean, they're at 20, but don't understand it. And then, yeah, Louisville over Mizzou and OU. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if that if the fact, because OU lost Oklahoma State, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that kind of, if KU would have jumped higher if it wasn't for that. That they're kind of like, oh, maybe OU just is a little bit overrated. So now that OU win by KU kind of seems a little less than.
Yeah.
But they still a good win. But I wonder if that's why, because I was expecting them to jump up in the top 10 or something. But yeah, and Mizzou makes sense. It's like you know, it's Georgia, a tough game. It's tough to be like, oh, you lost to Georgia. Now you're dropped out of the top 25. So
it's crazy. I mean, I feel like Georgia does have some losable games ahead, and if Mizzou can just hold on there with only 2 losses in the SEC, I think they're sitting pretty.
Is it still like championship game?
Yeah,
SEC?
yeah.
Okay,
top
so they
2
can play each
teams
other.
go face each other at the Chick-fil-A thingy majig in Georgia. So
is that the official name? Chick-fil-A thing?
I don't even remember. I think it's the Chick-fil-A Bowl. I don't know. SEC championship sponsored by Chick-fil-A, maybe.
They changed it a lot. So
yeah,
it's a 16-game bracket this year. No, I'm just kidding.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that's all I got with NCAA.
I mean, if that's true, then Mizzou's in there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, should be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts there, Jensen? Anybody else?
No, I was just looking at it. I'm just sad that Louisville's not in the top 10. They barely missed out. And Kansas State, they went down 2. That sucks.
Yeah.
But those are the only teams I really care about. And then as you guys were talking about KU, like, I mean, I know I'm a K-State fan, but KU's like never been good at football. So,
I mean, back in like 2010.
Yeah, that one year where they lost to Chase Daniel. And that was like as good as they got. It feels like this is even better than that. But even though I'm not sure what they can really get done, but this
I wish they played each other this year. That would have been awesome.
I will say though, this seems like the biggest year for where the bracket will be useful and fun.
Yeah.
Because Ohio State looks good, but it's like none of these teams are like Georgia of last year, where it's like, why do we even play this? Of course, this team's going to win the championship. It's like, I mean, I could see Washington getting in and then winning the championship. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
So I think it'll be fun. And then, like you said, if Missouri beat Georgia, then I'm guessing that would be enough to get them into the top 4. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. Oh, Mizzou would have jumped up into the top 4 for sure if they beat Georgia.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Or at least top like 6 or something.
And then if they go beat Alabama in the championship game, if that were to happen, everybody would have been in an uproar.
Yeah. It's a good team, though. Either way, it should be.
It is.
They're
They're on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we go ahead and move into the basketball side of the top 25 for the NCAA. And I'm going to say I love everything here out of the top 5, but a couple, I think, Gonzaga and Duke this year. Purdue and Marquette making an early appearance in the top 25.
Yeah.
Bama, Miami being left out, but other than that, there's not much change for me. I mean, really, anybody else stick out to you guys?
I'm interested that they have, granted, I haven't been following their program that much, but I wonder how much of last year's bias Florida Atlantic is. If that's just like, how fun was that Final Four? Let's put them in the top 10, or if they actually have another top 10 squad again this year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Again, I don't follow them that much, but I'd be interested if like double with 3 games in, they'd be like, oh, never mind. That team is not a top 10 team. But yeah, it looks pretty chalk. I mean, how many times do we see like these same basic kind of 3 teams, at least in the top 10, though?
Hey, you should be top 25, man. Like right at 25, right?
Yeah, exactly. Marquette's fun. They started off, again, I have some Milwaukee connections now, so that's nice. But yeah, it seems a little chalk, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm kind of surprised by UConn being number 6.
Yeah.
Too low or too high?
I think it's too low.
Yeah. Especially after last year. I mean, they lost some people, but
Because of last year, yeah.
Yeah, like they were basically the Georgia football of basketball last year, where it's just like, well, they're gonna win this. Good luck, San Diego State. So that's a good point. Again, I don't know I know for sure, again, Milwaukee, the Bucks have Andre Jackson, who was amazing, at least for the Bucks anyways. He's a rookie, but that's just one guy. So I don't know. And I'm not sure if Kansas got somebody from high school who's like the best in the land or something, but
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
And Duke.
It ain't Grady this year, so
yeah, no Dick, as I always say.
Yeah, true. True. I mean, on that, we'll go ahead and go to the women's side. I like it also. I mean, LSU was number 1, UConn was number 2, Iowa number 3. I mean, I like everything up until Washington State, but we'll see, I guess. I mean, hot take here, I'm gonna say it. I don't think Iowa is as potent as they were last year. I mean, they put up a decent game against Virginia Tech, and I mean, they barely won that. It was by 4. I think we're going to see some struggles throughout the season this year. I mean, last year, Jensen, you and I were talking beforehand. I mean, they lost their center. They can get her back to full potential, then okay. But what are your all's thoughts here?
I think with at least with the top 5 that we see, so we have like LSU, UConn, Iowa. I think that they did Iowa dirty by putting UConn above them, to be honest.
That's
I mean,
a good thing you're not going to the Cayman Island Classic.
But like, I know that UConn, like, obviously, like, that's like the program.
Yeah.
But like Iowa, they have Caitlin Clark, and like she is supposedly like the best women's basketball player. So I'm just surprised that they put UConn above. But I kind of just think that this Page is playing now.
Even though LSU lost, LSU's the better team.
Yeah, I have a question though. I wonder if this is, I guess for both of you, but especially for Jensen, like, is this like the biggest season of like women's basketball ever? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like in terms of like the high, because I feel like after last year's championship, there was never more like actual popularity.
I mean, 80s were pretty good.
I mean, possibly, but I feel like it's like this was like
were decent.
I almost feel like in some ways people are equally excited about the women's than they are the men.
I feel like we hear about it more because of social media now. I mean, maybe that's the reason the hype is higher, but I feel like it's had kind of the same amount of hype since maybe, I don't know. Last year was pretty late 2000s.
I was having conversations with like, frat guys here in LA talking about Caitlin Clark, and that was like not happening, where it's like, holy, did you see last night's game with Caitlin Clark? So and especially after like, and the whole LSU thing, that was really fun, and they did their thing. So I just wonder if this is like
a big name.
if it, yeah, like the name at least, I'm not saying that people are going to be watching, Virginia Tech against Indiana, but
Yeah.
at least when it comes like, okay, here comes Iowa, in the big dance.
No, I agree. I feel like before this, like before last year, this year, I mean, in the past, like what, 5 years, I feel like women's basketball has just been talked about more because of
Yeah.
social media, because of just like gender equality. You know what I mean? So I think that before, like you were talking about, Wes, like I think the people that followed women's basketball, like followed women's
Right.
basketball. But
Right.
now, like, I feel like the
It's
population
hit the mainstream. Right.
yeah,
That's what I was thinking too. It's like, I feel like there's 14-year-old boys who like are aware of college women's basketball players, which didn't
Yeah.
really exist as much.
they can name at least 5 women's basketball players now.
Yeah, which is amazing, which is awesome. And
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's the main thing that's exciting is like I wonder if that will keep it up, and because of that, they'll watch Caitlin Clark, and then they'll learn another player against Utah that they're playing, and then that will kind of build up. So I wonder, like for the NCAW, organization, if they're like really excited for this year of like we could actually make this like turn it into a bigger thing. And also, it probably didn't help that it was basically just like 10 years of UConn's probably going to win this, Tennessee's probably going to win this, which can kind of be didn't really help the narrative that it's just like, oh, the women's play, but really it's just these two programs and they're going to win it. So the fact that there's kind of like players you can attach to and not programs, I think is what makes it exciting.
Yeah. Well, and like, I mean, I think it goes to show like the point that you were making is that the WNBA, they just added a team and it's the first time in how long they've
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, they were never able to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So the fact that they were even able to do that like shows, I think, the following or just that they're making more money on
Right.
women.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that it's people that legit want to watch it as opposed to like, like funding for diversity or something. Like it's like no, people want to see Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
And that's which is the cool part. And that's what I think. Well, what was the team that was added? Was it
It was a there was a Golden State
oh
team.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. And on that note, next we'll head into the NFL. We'll talk more drama as the Chiefs and the Dolphins game took place last week in Germany. And takeaways here. I mean, the Chiefs, they shut down Tyreek, held to 62 yards, had the fumble that pretty much cost him the game.
Mm-hmm.
Not my opinion, but fans all over social media trampled Tyreek Hill down and basically said he was the cause of the loss. And then he's kind of only posted a couple things this week, hasn't really said much in the fact after the game, that everything that happened. And he said that after all those comments, he was quoted to be after the game saying, "I ain't gonna lie, y'all boys is pretty good. Still got it though, boy." And McCole Hardman comes back at him and goes, who just joined Kansas City, by the way, rejoined the team, and said, "You getting old though, man. You getting old." And then, I mean, it looks like it's all fun and games, but
yeah. I
Dolphins
personally
call the comeback mode there, but yeah, what?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I personally like it leaves a bad taste in my mouth to like have any hatred towards Tyreek Hill. I get why Chiefs fans are doing it. 'Cause it's like you left and look what we did, that kind of thing. But to me, it's kind of like, whatever. He got us, if it wasn't for that awesome route and against the Niners in the Super Bowl, we don't win that Super Bowl. It's like, I hate to just like you left us and now I hate like so anytime it's like it's big Tyreek's fault they lost that game. It's kind of like it's obviously more nuanced than that. It was like that in general, our defense just kind of thwarted Jalen Waddle and everybody and Tua specifically.
I think also got him beat the entire first half until maybe mid third quarter, and then that's when we saw it. So
I think the bigger thing is there's tons of questions about the receivers and blah blah blah. I do think that was it was in Germany, which could excuse some things, but that would also work for Miami too. So that kind of, but I do think that was a classic Andy Reid, like let his foot off the gas kind of game. Like it was like, oh, we're up 21, we basically won, so I don't want to give away too many plays. I just want to get out in Germany and say we won, and it worked. But I feel like this year, where it's like our receivers are so, we're so in a learning curve with the receivers that's tougher to like, we have a lead and then maybe we'll throw a bomb to Tyreek Hill. Now it's like, we might not be able to get a first down, and then maybe Miami gets it, and it almost happened if it wasn't for a missed snap that ends the game.
Crazy.
So I think it was an awesome win on one hand. You want to be able to stack wins. I think Chiefs fans are rightfully hoping that it's like we have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Certainly, eventually, something's going to connect offensively, because of, like, especially with like the best defense we've ever had. Like certainly I can remember.
It's crazy.
Even those days in the '90s, I feel like this is so much more like. But we'll see. With maybe less talent than those early '90s teams.
Yeah,
but like Spags it's just on a heater right now. He's just like,
if we could just get somebody that's Derek Thomas mentality, this defense would be complete.
Well, I guess so, but it's almost like you don't even need that. It's like Spags is so on a heater right now. He knows how to perfectly use Drew Tranquil. It's like you don't even need a guy that's better. You just need someone who's Drew Tranquil. He knows how to perfectly use. I mean, McDuffie is a star, but people like that, where it's like he's doing a very Bill Belichick thing, where it's like it's less about the talents, but more about what are you good at, and I'm going to perfectly use what you're good at. Almost like a
Speak of McDuffie, who gave us that pick for McDuffie?
Yes, that was almost too much on the nose that McDuffie caused the fumble.
Yeah,
like Tyreek Hill had to be thinking that, like, darn it, this is going to be my big comeback game. I will say that's another reason why I'm not too hot in this game, is that there is a chance we play in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And like, we don't want this to be a thing where we did the thing where we celebrated in the regular season and then they win the game in the playoffs. So, but more so just for the season, that was to be 7-2 and it feel like we have like so many things to work on is a good feeling. That's like, now hopefully we can work on those things, but and though that was our biggest test technically with the Dolphins offensively, to me, I'm still afraid of like the Bengals more, just because of like, I feel like Spags knows how to work Tua more so than Burrow, even though maybe it's a less talented offensive team than the Dolphins. I feel like Tua is a lesser quarterback than Burrow, and Burrow can just, that kind of thing. So there's still some tests going forward defensively, but anyways, I think it's it also shows how much we're spoiled as Chiefs fans, that it's like, it's just kind of amazing that like we're 7-2, and I listened to a podcast about the Chiefs, and you'd think like something happened to someone's stepdad or something, like they're sick or something. Like, it was just like, and man, MVS is not getting, if he can't get open, like, it was like, why am I listening? What was this, like a funeral? Like, why is everybody so sad? We're 7-2, and it's like, because we're so spoiled about like Super Bowl and bust, that it's like, remember, 10 years ago we had Matt Castle and we were just hoping to get a win. So the fact that we beat this awesome Dolphins team is amazing. But anyways,
y'all should go out there and listen to my Chiefs suck rap on YouTube. It's all about Matt Castle.
Exactly. It's like, that should be like, we should just be in bliss right now. But I mean, like, we literally are the most, and this like has to be the apex Chiefs moment ever in history. I was thinking about this. I mean, between the Taylor Swift thing, where now internationally people know who we are. Everybody, I mean, to the point where people are like tired of it. And it's like Kansas City, Missouri. It's this team from Kansas City, Missouri, and it's like the world knows about us. We're in every single commercial. We're the best team. We've like are the best team in the past 5 years. Like, what an apex moment. So it's tough for me to be like, we're 7-2, but gosh darn it, Sky Moore could not get open, and I'm pissed. It's like, it's hard for me to do that, because it's like, I trust at least a little bit in Andy Reid to fix our offense a little bit, even if it's not going to be the show of the past, to get something done.
Yeah, absolutely. Jensen says spot on.
Yeah, and I think it's funny that you like mentioned the like international part, because right before the show I was talking to Wes and I was like, did you see that Patrick Mahomes just like partnered with Skims? Like, Kim Kardashian
Oh yeah.
had Patrick Mahomes come? Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Who conversed in that? Like, who sent the email on the
Probably
maybe
Brittany.
Kim. Yeah, or yeah, sure, maybe Brittany. but maybe Kim though. Maybe it's like, they're at an all-time high. I gotta get my stuff going.
Sterling, what'd you touch my phone for?
Yeah, he said it. He knows what is it, Northwest? I don't know what the kids' names are. But what's the wasn't there something though where it's like they had a rivalry with their clothing line? Taylor Swift had a rivalry because she didn't like that Kanye called her out, and something like that. That was, I saw his quick Twitter thing. Yeah, but I doubt Mahomes is really worried about that right now. But that's the kind of problems the Chiefs has. Is like, we're just so compare that to our Damon Heward days, where it's like, who are the Kansas City
leave
Chiefs?
him alone.
The Kansas City Chiefs. Why would I care about them? And now it's like we're people are annoyed by how much they see the Chiefs. So yeah,
yeah,
a blessing.
that note, next we head into the NBA and we talk the Lakers, who have not had a blessing this year yet. And here we go again, 3-5, sitting towards the bottom again. I mean, you lose to the Nuggets on opening night by 12. It wasn't the refs. You lose a close one to the Kings. You lose by 19 to the Magic, and then to the Heat by 1, which is the game that brought up the topic pretty much, because that's where he started talking about the refs. And then the next game, you lose by 34 to the Rockets. I get it. Davis is out, but the team can't win without both of them in the game. And I mean, it's crazy, but LeBron blaming the refs only 8 games into the season. Again, it's crazy. The excuses go on, and to blame the refs early here in a game where you're down 90-79 at the end of the third quarter, and you're in for a long season, though. I mean, you got a long season ahead, but you're down in the third quarter of the 8th game of the season, and you're blaming the refs already. It's crazy. Like, do you all agree with him, or do you not agree with him? I mean, does he have a point about the refs deciding a game this early? Just seems bogus to me.
Yeah. I mean, living in Houston and going to a lot of Rockets games, the fact that they lost to the Rockets by 34 points is like insane. And that's not just refs, like, no. Because the Rockets like are not good. And we're so used to like losing here.
Yeah.
Every team is used to losing except for the Astros. So just the fact that the Lakers came to Houston and lost is like by that much is crazy. So no.
Yeah,
that's a good point. To see it in person, them losing by 50 is, I feel like it's always hard. The NBA is tough. Now the Lakers for me are the toughest to gauge, because they technically they don't have the excuse of like, well, we're working things together. We still got to make sure we just got 5 new players. There's a couple teams like the Bucks, the Celtics, even the Mavericks, that are kind of like, give them like 3 months and then see what they're like in February, because they have, especially with coaches and stuff. The Lakers, it's basically the same team, and it's like they're older. So, I mean, if I was a fan, there's reasons to be worried, especially since it seems like LeBron's probably getting angry because he has to play so many minutes, because they're, it's not like they're blowing teams out and he gets to sit out. It's like they have to fight for games against the Magic.
I can't flop this much, guys.
Yeah, and so that part's interesting, because I think a lot of people went into the season like, man, they got so much talent. They just met a bulldozer in the Nuggets in the playoffs, and that's why they lost. But then now it's like, but again,
the Nuggets look good.
Well, yeah, the Nuggets are the best team in the league. But I think the Lakers, I think, are they're like the one team where it's like, it's not like, well, we'll see in 3 months, even though it is the NBA, so every team is like that. It's like, who knows? There's probably a team right now that's the 9 seed that's probably going to end up being the 3 seed, and it's like that always happens. But the Lakers, it's like, I'm not sure if they can afford again for the second year in a row to be like the 7 seed that barely gets in and has to play a tough, has a long road to the playoffs. So that's interesting. I think they were hoping to be 6-1, but for me, it's more so just the fact that there's a lot of teams like that. I feel like the Sixers are off to kind of a hot start, but it's like I don't think anyone would be like, oh, they're far and away the favorites. Like the only team that seems consistent is by far the Nuggets. I mean, they
got rid of Harden. We're so much better.
Probably, actually, to be honest. I feel like they're just like, we know what we are. We don't have to worry about it. It's like he's like having a little kid on your team. It's like, all right, good. We don't have to worry about him. We can just do our own thing.
Stop eating that chocolate bar. No, I'm good, homie.
Maybe literally. And now that he's on the Clippers, it just seems to be even worse. Poor LA. My LA basketball fandom peeps are not in the best spot right now. But the Lakers I feel like the Lakers still have the talent to, again, that's the weird thing about the NBA is that like the playoffs happen in summer. Like it's not even Thanksgiving yet, and like the playoffs happen when it's like we're at the beach during summertime, and that's when, so it's like it's tough to like, oh man, here we are, this is what the season is. It's like, who knows from 80 games from now what's going to be the situation. But I just feel like the bad part with the Lakers is that they're old. It's not like, well, they have a lot of rookies that had to find themselves. It's like, no, it's Davis, and he's always injured, and I guess as long as he's healthy for that 20 game stretch in the playoffs, it's okay. But I think that's the Lakers thing, especially
it's time to get rid of the unibrow.
maybe that's what it is. Maybe that should be his big. They need to change something, because for me, there's something kind of boring about them. But especially in like right now, the main story about the Western Conference is that it's just so loaded, and like you don't only have room to like, well, we'll lose a bunch, but then come back later. It's like, I mean, right now now again it's early, but like even the Rockets are technically would be in the playoffs right now, who we just demeaned for being terrible. And it's like technically they're 4-3 and they just trounced the Lakers, so who knows? So that'll be interesting, but it's the Nuggets league right now, and then someone else has to take them down.
True. Well said. Well said. Well said. And on that note, now we talk pro volleyball. Yep. It was announced earlier this week that Kansas City would be getting a pro volleyball team in 2025, and this next year will be the inaugural season. Current teams include the Atlanta Vibe, Columbus Fury, Grand Rapid Rise, Las Vegas getting another team. All right. Omaha Supernovas. Wonder if that's going to be owned by Peyton Manning. Orlando Valkyries, and San Diego. I mean, I'm actually pretty excited for this. There's tons of talent in college for this sport. And on top of the AVP, which only allows teams of 2 to play, now you get teams of around 15 that can come together. And it sounds like the league's going to be growing, so that's going to be even more. But I think it's pretty cool. I've always been a volleyball fan. Used to play a little back in high school, summer nights, and a little into college also. But I mean, yeah, good for them. What are your all's thoughts here?
I think it's exciting, and I think once again we are talking about women's sports and how it's growing.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that this is also happening at the same time. And I don't know. I think it's good timing, if I'm being honest, with everything else that's happening in the world with women's sports. So, and I think it's really cool that Kansas City got a team.
Yeah.
Like, what? We can't even get like a NBA team, but we can.
I know.
You got volleyball.
Yeah, like women's soccer, women's volleyball.
Yeah.
Like, when are we gonna get an NBA team?
Yeah.
Speaking of soccer, they just signed the youngest player in NWSL history at 14 years something. So crazy.
Interesting. Oh yeah, but I think one thing, maybe Kansas City needs to like they almost have to prove themselves. It's like, let's see what you do with the current and volleyball, and then maybe we'll give you a hockey team. But anyways, yeah, I think it's like
the Mavericks.
The Mavericks.
Yeah, hockey team.
Okay. Oh yeah. That's true. Yeah. But no, they need the Coyotes. They need that Phoenix team.
I do agree. I would like to see them.
That'd be awesome. I saw a mock-up jersey and I was excited. But no, for one thing, what is with these like the lesser leagues that have terrible names? I feel like that doesn't help their cause. Or it's like I almost feel like they're better off being just like the Eagles or something. You know, like be something that's like really maybe not that standard, but like I do feel like their names are so extra that it almost sounds like a little league. You know what I mean? Like it always has that arena league type names. It's like, oh, this is lesser because they're called the Supernovas, or what is that? The Las Vegas Rise? Like what is that? But
yeah.
But also I think it's interesting too, because I wonder if it'll be how this will affect like high school sports, and like if there's an idea of like, oh, I could be a professional paid volleyball player.
Yeah.
If that'll deter people from playing other sports, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was already tons of volleyball players, but I wonder if that would be a thing now, where it's like the talent that was in basketball and softball and other things now will go to volleyball because you can be paid to be on the Las Vegas Rise.
Absolutely.
Which always happens, because I feel like that's a theory with American soccer. Is that we could be amazing at soccer, but all of our talent goes to the NFL and NBA and stuff.
Well, soccer got a little messy, so.
Well, I mean, in general, if like our USA team,
true.
If our USA team would be better if like we had Tyreek Hill, who instead of growing up as a football player grew up to be whatever. But yeah, I think it's fun. I'm imagining like, is this something that will be like on ESPN and ESPN2? Like actually,
probably.
Like,
I feel like that's where it's going to head. Yeah,
that could be kind of cool, where you're legit watching volleyball like at an airport bar, and it's kind of a fun idea to. I also feel like it's not big enough news for being. I mean, I get it. It's not like they have to start it off first. But I feel like it's kind of big news that there's a professional volleyball league.
Yeah, I mean, my only other thought here is now we need pro softball. I mean, there's a market for that, and I think it could rake in a lot of money. I mean, there are some really, really good softball players out there, and it's crazy that they can go to the Olympics, which is the highest pinnacle that they can go to. And I mean, it's crazy because it stops after college and then you're done. Like,
yeah, I feel
holy
like
moly,
the only problem with that is that I feel like one thing, the volleyball thing is at least kind of new. Like there's no men's or anything. So it's kind of like, ooh, there's professional volleyball. This is the highest in America technically is this sport. And also I feel like baseball doesn't have is on a decline, unfortunately, you know, or at least is steadying in terms of fandom. So I'm wondering if they're like, if people are kind of barely watching baseball, like how many people are going to watch softball?
statistics said baseball actually went up with the time changes.
Well, yeah, the time change definitely helped, but in general, you know, most people watch their local teams and aren't, you know, they're not tuning in to watch. Hey, I'm going to watch Twins, and you know, they're only watching their teams.
Let's go Rangers.
Right? Yeah, like most people like were probably bored by the World Series just because it's like, oh, I don't know anything about these players because I only watched my hometown Red Sox or whatever. Yeah. So I wonder if that affects the softball thing, but yeah, I think I love the volleyball idea. Again, I think it goes well with the women's basketball and hoping that there's especially in this case being the only sport. I think that's the most exciting. I mean, the only women being the only sport in it, you know, it's not like there's already an established men's league and this is the lesser women. It's like this will be the league. I think makes it kind of exciting because it's like these are the best volleyball players, professional volleyball players that we have.
Absolutely. And well, lastly, we talk sporting, and it happened. They beat St. Louis and outscored them 6-2 in a best of 3 series. They are the second 8 seed team to do so. And they will face the winner of Houston or Real Salt Lake, which both of those games have come down to the PK, and that's pretty insane. I mean, Sporting had one PK game and it had me on my feet, and it was fantastic to watch. But I want to go on a little rant here for Sporting Kansas City.
Do it.
This is a team that lost the first 10 games of the season. This is a team who also turned it around in May and had one of the best streaks in the MLS. This is a team that endured so much this season, but now it's time to stop counting them out. Vermes pointed out in his presser that St. Louis had a great season. They started things off right, and they had a great atmosphere and fan base. They should be proud, and they should. I mean, they got the number 1 seed. Did they lose to the 8 seed? Yes. But Sporting was a team that could have competed early, but they lost those first 10 games because most of their guys were out with injuries. Most of their guys were recuperating, and most of their guys were trying to find themselves, and the younger guys that came in to just like feel the atmosphere and get used to it, because in the next couple of years, we all know that Johnny Russell, Shalloway, and we know that Amelia, and we know that Graham Zusi, they're all going to be out of there. Big names, and they're going to be out of there soon. These young guys got the feel early. They're back on Sporting Kansas City 2 now, and they're getting some reps in there. Sporting KC2 looked phenomenal this season. They had a really good season. And I mean, I don't know. I agree that Sporting Kansas City played their hearts out. So did St. Louis. But yeah, Sporting Kansas City took a blow, though, with Ndimbe tearing his ACL. What really got me was the fact that St. Louis fans were yelling at him during the game. Ndimbe played with a torn ACL. Right. He was out there just playing with a torn ACL. And the St. Louis fans, though, when he went down, were like, dude, get up. You're time wasting. Come on, man. You suck. And I'm like, he's actually hurt. You could see it in his face. But some way, somehow, the dude got up and just started playing. But yeah, I don't know how big of a tear it was at that point, but it was pretty substantial after the match that they're going to give him the surgery. So, but they have a great bench, Sporting does, and St. Louis does as well. But Sporting's bench, I feel like, has a lot more depth on it. And now that everybody's healthy, they have awesome potential. This team believes right now. They've won 5 straight, and 3 of those have been in the postseason. Again, the bench has depth, the team is healthy, And this is the first time in a while that they look good. I like their odds. I think that they continue to make a pretty deep run, and hopefully Sporting brings home another trophy. Anybody else have any thoughts on
that? So he's out indefinitely, right? With the ACL,
yeah.
he's not good. Okay. But still, I feel like I almost feel like they'll add to the spirit of the team, especially with a deep bench. But yeah, they're exciting to watch because if I could, at least keeping up with on our show through you of them, they kind of had to come through the fire a little bit, didn't they? Like, it wasn't like they started off hot or anything. I mean, they're the 8th seed, so that explains it. But
it was horrible.
At first, people were
they got in was great.
That's what I mean. Yeah, people were celebrating that they made the playoffs. As a guy who now just wants to go, loves everything Missouri now that I'm outside Missouri, it is kind of unfortunate that the big win was against another Missouri team. You almost wish they'd play each other like in the finals or something. But
this is going to be a great rivalry.
St. Louis.
Yeah, it's already 3 games to 2 in Sporting's favor. So
what is that? The Highway 85 matchup or something like that?
Yeah, I-70 still. Yeah,
I-70. Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I love it, and I feel like every other tweet from Mahomes is about it. So I'm excited just through that. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm excited for this team. Mahomes made a great investment there, and earthquake over on my end here. I don't know why, but it's going to be awesome to watch. I'm excited for him. I can't wait. I cannot wait until the next game. Got a couple weeks there, so. But another cool thing is during this time, Gotti Kinda, one of the players there, he gets to go play for Israel. I can't imagine what he's been going through right now with that in the back of his head. But he's gone out and he's played on all cylinders like he's playing for his country. And I just hope that his family and everybody there, hope everything's going well. If he does get to go back over there during this time to play for his team, I hope that he's safe and I hope everything goes well. But I mean, Israel, Gotti Kinda is good, and I don't know if he'll come back next season, but we'll see. I hope that they get that contract extension in there, but we'll see. But on that note, we'll head to the local sports update brought to you by Trackside Burgers. They are open at 1515 West 10th Street. And go get a $50 gift card this holiday season and get $10 free. You can use it on yourself, a friend, whoever you want. But today at 1, MSSU men and women will tip off, and the women's basketball team will head to the MIAA GAC crossover. They'll take on Harding, and then the men will be in Kansas City taking on Minnesota State Moorhead. Then MSSU women will play Henderson State tomorrow at 11 a.m., and the men will take on Bemidji State at 1 p.m. So, and then football will wrap up with Senior Day versus Missouri Western at 2 p.m. Unfortunate that Missouri Southern will be sitting outside the playoffs again, just a couple wins away from being in there. But, I mean, they made a lot of improvement this year. It was a heck of a year for Pitt State and everything that they're doing. And then Missouri, I believe it's Western who they're getting ready to play. Heck of a season out of them, too. I mean, 2 teams that were in the top 25, and they're just showing their stuff off. And I believe at one point, Pitt State was number 1 in the nation. So, but yeah, good season out of them. Congratulations to Pitt State, and I hope they make it well in the playoffs. As much as I'm not a Pitt Stater, I do like the 4-state area being represented well. And I appreciate everything that they do whenever they do stuff around here. So, yeah, kudos to them. And on that note, we head into the 2-minute warning, and that is brought to you by Hot Stone Pizzeria. Not feeling like cooking this weekend? Go grab some pizza by the slice over there, only Wednesday through Saturday. And Tuesday through Saturday. I make this mistake every week. I'm so used to saying Wednesday through Saturday, but and they're staying open late tonight, guys. So make sure you take advantage of that and go get some after the game. It's going to be fun. We got district titles in the air, and we'll go ahead and do our picks. And 7-3 Joplin heads to 10-0 Nixa for the district title game in Class 6. Who you got?
Nixa.
Give me with a Joplin upset by Nixa.
So who you going with there?
Joplin upset.
All right. I'll take Joplin too.
Yeah.
I think that they can overcome Nixa this time. Look, last time these two played each other, Joplin's running back broke his spine, and he didn't get to play the rest of the game. So, yeah,
Is he bad?
That was a little bit of a disadvantage. Guy's healthy now, looks good. Hopefully they can protect him, and I know that they will. So, and then 8-2. Huh?
He broke his back.
Yeah, he broke the.
I had to say, wow, that's a quick turnaround.
Oh,
okay.
So
crazy. Yep. I'll have to show you guys that one. 8-2 Web City, hosts 7-4 Carthage. Who you got?
I'm going Web.
I'll go Carthage.
Man, I don't know. Everything in me says Web here because they're at home, and yeah, I'll go Web as well. Then the stunner, Carl Junction, 3-8 heads to 8-2 Nevada for the district title game. Who you got?
I mean, I think you have to go Nevada.
Yeah, you know what? I'll go Carl Junction. I literally could not know little more about either team, so why not go with the upset and then be proud of my pick?
Hey, CJ's on a 2-game winning streak, but I'll take Nevada here. I'll take Nevada.
Wait, they're on a 2-game winning streak and they're 3-8.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep.
That is a run.
Playoffs is where it counts now, man.
Yeah, it's like baseball.
Indeed. Next up, we got number 14 Mizzou. They will host number 13 Tennessee. Who you got?
I'm going Mizzou. They got.
It's at Mizzou.
Yeah.
I'm going Mizzou.
I'll take Mizzou close here. I don't like the odds because I picked them versus Georgia and they did great against Georgia, and then they threw that pick and it was over. Number 25 K-State hosts Baylor. Who you got?
K-State.
Oh, easily K-State.
Yeah, I'll take K-State. Number 16 Kansas hosts Texas Tech. Who you got?
Kansas.
Texas Tech.
Okay. I'll take KU here.
Is that
NCAA Division II.
Is that a battle of
Missouri Western?
Does Mahomes have? Mahomes has to go Texas Tech, right? For that.
Well, I mean, he could be there this weekend. It is the bye week.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Probably a game that he would appear at.
Whether it's there or in Texas Tech.
Yeah. Anyway, Division II, Missouri Southern, last game of the season, Missouri Western. Who you got?
Is this basketball or
football?
Oh, football. I'll go Missouri Western. Unfortunately.
Is it at Western?
No, MSSU.
If my parents go, Missouri Southern. if they can't make it because my dad has a long shift, then easily Missouri Western.
Easily. Okay, I'm gonna go Western.
That's right.
I'm gonna say tie.
There you go. Just in case if the coach is listening, then
it can happen.
Yeah. Wait.
After second overtime.
No, okay.
Okay, I'll take Missouri Western, unfortunately, also.
That's okay. You gotta trust your instinct.
But yeah. Well, the music is here, so it's the end of another episode. For Tony, Jensen, Clint, and myself, have a great and safe weekend. Make sure you go get some Ghetto tacos before your game tonight or tomorrow, whatever you guys go see. Basketball, football, everything's in the air right now, fall sport wise. Indoor track and field in some areas, and yeah, Fridays, 10% off your burritos. Don't forget to go get some. And then if you can't get in this weekend, Taco Tuesday or Thirsty Thursday, 1 free drink per entree on Thirsty Thursdays. Yeah, have a great and safe weekend, and see you all next week on Timeout.